Hello, campers. We are back in action. Time for Be the Boss of Your Money. It's one of those weeks, folks. I was telling you yesterday, it's like a vacation week. School's closed. I have kids home. We didn't go away this week. Yeah, just getting around, driving the kids around. It's a lot, So better late than ever. But we've got a couple of things to talk about. It'll be a quick show today. It's also it'll be my last show of the week. I'm not going to be around tomorrow. um, I'm expecting I'll be at the New York International Auto Show at the Jacob Javits Center in Manhattan tomorrow. My daughter and I are going. We're going to take the train in. Yes, we're definitely going to take the train. It should be a lot of fun. And no, I'm not afraid to take the train. But my ears and eyes will be open, and uh, I'll be very vigilant when we take the train. But I'm expecting to have a great time, and I want to see all the new cars, especially the battery ones. A friend of mine went yesterday, and he said they had like a test track for Ford, the new Ford pickup, I guess the Lightning, and he said it was unbelievable. He says he said you cannot believe how fast these things go. It's just incredible. Anyway, I'm looking forward to it. It's something I could take for about 90 minutes, 2 hours tops. And then after that, I'm like, okay, all the cars are starting the same. And we'll do something else. It's supposed to be nice weather. We'll walk the High Line. Maybe we'll head over to the New York City Public Library, check out Bryant Park. New York City in the spring, summer, and fall it's just such a lovely place to be. And if you are in my neck of the woods and you want to head into the city, maybe do a bike ride or rollerblade the Greenway or something, let me know. I'd love to go with you so we can make plans together. So I made a couple of changes to my equipment. I Not major changes. I changed the HDMI outputs so that the screen I share is in camera one position, and the other cameras were moved down to 2, 3, and 4, where 4 used to be the screen share. And I'm hoping to see less blinking on the screen because I found out that camera one HDMI input on my A10 mini switcher is actually the most ideal for sharing screens. So far, I saw one little blink before, but it doesn't look too bad. I'm getting some new cables with much higher bandwidth. So we'll see if that helps. So while you're watching this, we're going to talk about Netflix and big stories of the day. And maybe, we're going to talk about individual stocks and maybe they're really not for you. I think what happened is this: people lost their fear. And I was talking to my brother-in-law today, my brother-in-law, Rob, and you see the blinking in the screen. So it drives me crazy. Some people say just ignore it and it'll go away, but can't leave well enough alone. The You said to me with Netflix, his point of view is that I'm surprised it didn't take. I mean, he said I'm surprised this didn't happen sooner. I should have put this up on the screen, but I actually talked about Netflix on my live stream a few months back, and I have my Fang M names, and I kicked Netflix out and replaced it with Nvidia. Hopefully you took that for what it's worth. That I said to you, and Netflix is just, they don't have the growth. It's hyped up, overvalued. I don't know if the stock is still even worth where it is now. I think it still has like a $95 billion market cap. But this was a pandemic stock darling, and it just happened to have the most unique, incredible circumstances for that particular company of Netflix. That's why all the screen stocks and the pandemic stocks went up, like Zoom, DoorDash, so many stocks that we talk about here. Certainly Netflix, even though it's a giant company, it's still not nearly as giant as it used to be, but it still was a pandemic stock which benefited from people having nothing to do but look at their screens every day for like a year and a half. But people are going out now; they're doing other things besides looking at screens, besides watching TV, and people are traveling. And personally, I like that. I love getting out there. So while you're watching this, if you wouldn't mind, give us a thumbs up. I see you, Jerry. Thank you very much. By the way, I have your that key, by the way, still. So gives us a good reason to get together for lunch or something, right? But depending on which platform you're watching on, give us a heart or a care or thumbs up, celebrate if you're watching on LinkedIn, whatever. It lets me see who's out there. If you want to maintain anonymity, then of course don't. If you have any questions about what we're talking about, like should I buy Netflix now that it's down, hit me up in the comments and I'll give you my answer. And I'll talk to you about some of the questions that people ask me, like as recently as today. Should I buy a house? Someone asked me. Okay, so Jerry, hi, buddy. So good to see you. And I see Jay out there. Jay, great to see you. And dude, was it May 13th or something? Is our or May 12th is our big SUNY Albany reunion coming up. I am really looking forward to that. So I'll see you soon. All right. So let's let me take you off the screen there. So let's roll with it. I'm going to just play a quick intro, pop up the right banner. Here we go. But I want you to know I'm just I'm winging it today. Like, I mean, I know what I want to talk about because it's already in my head. But sometimes when a topic is in my head, I'm just letting you know how a little inside view of how I do the show. I write a few bullet points down, in my chicken scratch. But I didn't even have time. I literally just walked into the office and I'm just going to run and gun it today. So that's why I'm fishing around for the intro right this second. And I have something I want to show you on Instagram. So you're going to want to see that. Here we go. Stick around. It's going to be a good show. And I want to see your questions in the comments. All right, and I'm back. If you're just joining us right now, I'm Mitch Goldberg. You're watching my live stream, Be the Boss of Your Money, which is really about taking control of your money, financial matters. Some of you watching are very experienced with this and are very good with money and have done very well for yourselves. But there could be some reminders here, some new things, plus some new tricks. I'm pretty in touch with like the new stuff going on in the market, the new lingo, the social media. So you want to watch this because you want to see what's new in the world, right? And if you're a beginner, just starting out or a little, on the intermediate side in terms of your financial journey, this is going to be great for you. This whole show it's really set up to be all educational. There's no sales or anything. It's just strictly educational. And we talk about, not just the stock market, but I add a lot of perspective. I've been a financial advisor for 32 years now. I know a lot. And I share what I know, what I've learned. I share with you the benefit of my own mistakes that I've seen clients make in the past before they became my clients, of course. And, I also share with you what people have done to overcome big financial obstacles. And occasionally I have guests on as well who are very helpful with just incredible information. So let's talk about the elephant in the room. That's Netflix. So where is my Netflix? So let me put this up on the screen, okay? All right, here we are. So, well, you notice the picture in picture is a little bigger. See that? My little picture over here. Hi, everyone. I'm bigger in the corner. It's like a little wider. See that? It's wider and it's taller. Okay. So I'm having some fun making a few changes. So far, the blinking in the screen is under control. I think just one more cable will do it. I think the cable from my switcher to my computer I just need a lot more bandwidth in it. And I ordered one from B&H Auto, B&H Video and Auto, B&H Photo. I don't even know. I just say B&H. Okay. If you're a New Yorker, you know what B&H is. Anyway, so Netflix. Let's talk about Netflix. Netflix down 35% today, losing more than a third of its value. It had already gotten down by 50% from its all-time high of 700. But my goodness, down 35% in a day for a company as big as Netflix. That is a huge, huge drop on massive volume, 126.9 million shares. It's trading aftermarket, not getting any bounce whatsoever. I think the institutional investors who just decided to put stock money into FANG, and the original FANG is Facebook, Amazon, Netflix, and Google. I don't think these people ever got out. I'm surprised. And we talk about this on the show here. And there are some players, some biggies who watch this, some Wall Streeters who watch this. I'm telling you, give your boy some props. So it's just unbelievable how crushed this has gotten. 5 year. That's not that. I hate when that happens. Okay, the high was just 700, and that was late last year. But the point is, the entire rally from the pandemic all the way to its high, from the beginning of the pandemic all the way to its high, in this stock is completely gone. It's completely evaporated. So sad. Hey, oh, just got to say, hey, Jordan C. Martin is out there. Jordan in the house. Good to see you, buddy, my fellow content creator. Let's go on. So, yeah, so November it was super high. The low is 52-week low is 212. And that was touched again today. The low on the day was 212. Okay. This is just extraordinary. Now, why did Netflix get pounded so hard? You have to understand a couple of things. When I say you have to understand, I don't mean to sound like I did. Okay, May 12th. Thank you, Jay. Almost makes Disney uninvestable. So true. We'll talk about Disney in a second, okay? But Netflix has a very it has growth valuations in terms of P ratio and other statistics that investors use to value stocks. It had it's been given a very strong growth valuation, and the growth just hasn't been there. Now, why it took so long for investors to finally realize that the growth is not there, I don't know. Yes, the stock was down about 50% from its all-time high, but it was really only at its all-time high for like a second, or a half a day maybe. It was a very brief amount of time. So it's not like no investors got the message. But when they came out and said that they actually lost subscribers, people were shocked. And the company said they think maybe 100 million people are watching Netflix without even without paying for their own account because they're using their friends' passwords, whatever. That was a huge deal to see how they're going to monetize those people if they can even do it. There's also competition. So I'm kind of answering the question, should you buy Netflix or not? Because people have been asking. I'm not going to tell you yes or no because it really depends on your situation, on your risk tolerance, on what you think, on what you think you're getting with Netflix stock. But I know this: Netflix had the early adopter advantage. They crushed streaming a decade ago. First, they were into CDs, and they got into streaming. And the more we got in terms of Asher's out there. Asher, thank you very much, buddy, for the heart. How are you doing, Asher? It was good to see you last week, Asher, by the way. And I followed your company on LinkedIn as well. So thanks for sending the invitation. So with Netflix, what happened is you had the rapid growth then during the pandemic, during the shutdown, because people needed something to do. Got out of the pandemic. Some say we're not out of the pandemic, but I'm just saying we're not acting like we're in the pandemic anymore. How's that? Okay. Disney Plus came out and got hundreds of millions of subscribers. There you are, Asher. I say over 100 million subscribers. And then Discovery and Paramount, Warner Brothers. There's always others out there. It's got to be very competitive for streaming services. Like, how many streaming services can you have? So, too many streaming services are hitting the market, competition. And now that we have high inflation, I think investors are clearly looking to cut back on expenses. So what can you sacrifice to make up for the extra money you're spending on food and gasoline? So that's what it is. So yeah, that's why the stock has taken it on the chin, in my opinion. And it finally they came out and said, yeah, we're like a no growth company, even like a little negative growth, but we've been given a sky high valuation. Like we're still this, this super hot growth company. So that's why the stock was punished so severely and so swiftly. So I'll show you on my Instagram. Here I am. I'll put this over. There we go. Put myself down here. So you see this? This is I made this sign. I don't know if you know this, but I make these signs. Netflix and sell. Come on, it's off the riff. Netflix and chill. So I was so chill. I said Netflix and sell because the stock got pounded. But I put a lot of content out on Instagram, and if you don't follow me on Instagram, I'm going to say I highly recommend you do. Okay, these are the handles here at InstaMitchG, Client for Strategy on YouTube, on LinkedIn. That's my main jam. Facebook, Client for Strategy, and at Mitch_Goldberg on Twitter. So head over there and follow me after the show if we're not already connected. But I would say LinkedIn is my number one jam. We have an interesting comment from Asher, and let's just check it out. Also, don't forget all the liberal-based content that has been causing many conservative viewers to unsubscribe as well. All right, so what you're saying is they had a lot of people who've unsubscribed from Netflix because it was a liberal bent in their content. I don't know if there's any way to prove that or not. Now you may have unsubscribed or unsubscribed or turned off your Netflix service for those reasons. I don't know how many people did that or not, but I think I haven't heard of anybody en masse in the media anywhere getting on or off Netflix based on political views. But certainly we do have other choices. And if you are conservative in your political views, you have so many more choices today. As we all have more choices than we did when Netflix came out or than we did even a few years ago. And I think what's happening is the media, the media that we can consume is becoming so fractured and diluted that it's hard for any one company to maintain size and capture a lot of momentum because we just have more choices today. So everyone's really going, I think, in the media for a niche kind of product. Okay. So anyway, Netflix and sell was my little thing, and I'm really proud of that. Okay. Let's take a look. Let's go to the tape, take a look at the market. Boom, put myself up in the corner. I don't know why, but did that get a little smaller again? Yeah, whatever. All right, so the Dow up 249 points, Nasdaq down 1.2% on the heels of Netflix being down so much. Well, Asher just wants to put up some comments to clarify. So I have to do this. I want to do this because when you guys comment and ask questions and talk to me, this is, I love this, by the way. This is the best part of doing this. So more of this, I love it. Thank you. I didn't unsubscribe. I didn't unsubscribe. I have seen a lot lately of people showing the different shows and content coming out with a very left-leaning viewpoint, which has soured some people's desire to keep their subscription. Fair enough. I am an independent. Okay. You are an independent and you're a really nice guy and smart. So there. All right. So Nasdaq down 1.2%. You could tell that's down because technology was down. Netflix is down. Netflix has helped usher in a whole new level of better computers, better bandwidth products. I feel like Netflix has helped the entire telecommunications industry up its game. Oil was flat on the day. The 10-year yield was backed off a little bit after being at 2.94 yesterday, went out of today at 2.83. The VIX comes down almost back to 20.32. If we see that go under 20, I think the rally continues. I think it's one of the reasons why the rally from yesterday continued a little bit. But let's talk about this. Dow up 250, but the Nasdaq was down 1.2%, giving back about half of what it gained yesterday, and the S&P was basically flat. So what happened? Look, there is no Netflix in the Dow Jones Industrial Average, so the Dow is able to go up, and it's got other stocks besides tech in it. Nasdaq, it makes sense that that was the worst performing index because it's so tech heavy. And the S&P 500, while not as tech heavy as the Nasdaq, it is still pretty tech heavy. Also, as far as Netflix goes, Netflix is a much smaller company than it used to be, so it won't have as much sway when it goes up and down on the S&P 500 as it used to. Just not the same size. The bigger the company, the more sway it has on the S&P 500. So the S&P 500 was off a drop, but overall, I was thinking that we would have we actually did. We had the bad day that I thought yesterday. I was saying to you that I think we have a down day tomorrow because of Netflix. Certainly, we saw that in the Nasdaq, and it's about what I would have expected. The Dow still was able to hold on, and I'll show you why the Dow was able to hold on. All right, let's go back to the tape. All right, banks, IBM up 7%. That's in the Dow. All right, HCA Holdings, so healthcare was up. Omnicom Group, advertising. Just it was a pretty eclectic mix of stocks that were up today. The decliners, as you can see, this is the S&P 500. Netflix leading the way down. Man, 35%. That is just crazy. PayPal continuing to get smashed. Meta testing at $200. We'll see if it can hold. Disney down over 5%. And while I've got you there, Disney was down over 5%. Okay. And Roku was down 6%. So investors, while they are punishing Netflix, they are definitely punishing the entire streaming complex. It's not just Netflix. I think it's just the feeling is that streaming has peaked. Peak stream. Whenever I say peak stream, I feel like, I have to go to the bathroom. Excuse me, I'll be right back. I have to stream. Did that work? That's not working for me either. Okay, let's take a look at big news after market because Tesla, up $50, up 5%. Tesla's a much bigger company than Netflix. So Tesla up 5% definitely has an impact, but not enough to make up for the damage. Tesla, you'll see Tesla reflected in tomorrow's trading, but I don't know if it'll be enough to get the Nasdaq to repair its 1.6% drop today. But Tesla was down $50 during the regular session, up almost $50 in aftermarket trading. Good news from Tesla. Tesla's just been really good at sourcing materials. Okay, so let's take a look at the bond market. All right, for the most part, yields were down today a little bit, except for the 2-year, which is now 2.58, and the 10-year 2.832, off a drop. Bonds recovered a little bit. When bonds go up a little bit, yields typically go down a little bit. The 2-year yield went up a little bit because it's still expected that the Fed's going to raise rates, and the 2-year Treasury is considered the most sensitive to changes in the federal funds rate, and that's why the yield on this still managed to go up today in spite of the rest of the yield curve going down a drop. All right, so just crypto. No big deal. Listen, people worried that Bitcoin was going to hold 40,000 a few days ago. Now it's 41,000. It's barely down today, but the complex continues to trade. Like I was going to say, like the Nasdaq, but crypto held up a lot better than the Nasdaq. Okay. Um, so that's what we were talking about today. So someone asked me, a friend of mine asked me, uh, she asked me if I think it's a good time to buy a house. And, I said it depends on your financial situation. Like, is this something your family needs? Does whatever the numbers are in terms of the cost, how does that work into your budget? Like how expensive of a house would you be buying? How far away from work will you live? Uh, these are all the things that come into it. And she said, well, some of her friends said, no, don't buy a house now. It's not a good time to buy a house. And I'm like, this is what happens when you listen to friends, because they hear with the best of intentions, oh, interest rates are going up, mortgage rates are going up, so maybe it's not a good time to buy a house. And that is like really not a good way to go. I really want to say it's a really dumb way to go. You don't When you're talking about making a purchase that you're going to be living with for a very long time, and that's the case here. It doesn't matter what the price of the house is. It depends on how it works for your family's financial situation, on how it works out for their lifestyle. This person expects to be in this house for a very long time, for decades possibly. This person has a down payment. This person is sick of having to move out of a rental unit every year or two. And this person wants to put some roots down. But her friends say, oh, no, it's not a good time to buy. Then when is a good time to buy? I mean, you can't time the housing market like you know what you're talking about. I was almost said like a stock, but it's that, timing the stock market is not exactly the easiest thing to do either. So if the time is right for you to buy a house and it works within your budget, then it's time to buy the house. Every time the housing market has gone to an all-time high, people come out and say it's a bubble. It's never going to go up this high again. And then years later, what happens? It goes up to new highs, and people who didn't buy because they thought it was too high wind up kicking themselves. So I wouldn't make a decision on buying a house because it's a good investment at this time. We all know that buying a home has nothing to do with being a good investment. I know a lot of people say, no offense to my realtor buddies and my mortgage buddies, but people say, oh, it's the greatest investment you could make. I haven't seen one iota of proof that owning a home is a good investment. Well, you bought it for 500, you sold it for 800. Oh, I can't stand when people go by what they bought a house for and what they sold it for, because they're not taking into account how much they paid in interest on the mortgage every year. They're not taking into account the real estate taxes every year. They're not taking into account the cost to fuel, to keep it heated and air conditioned, and all the repairs and the maintenance, the landscaping. All of this stuff has to be factored into the cost of the house. I personally think whoever said owning a home, I personally think whoever said owning a home is the American dream has never owned a home. I've owned a number of homes. And, some of them I did well with because the market went up. Some of them I didn't do so great with because the market went down. And that's all it was. But if you buy a house now, yeah, you're paying up for it. But that doesn't mean anything. People are thinking like, oh, I'm just going to, time it. Well, what if you lock yourself into a 2-year lease in a rental unit? Houses go down in a year and you're ready to buy. Now you can't do anything because you're locked into a lease agreement. If it's the right time for you to buy a house, then it's the right time for you to buy a house. But don't be making these general, overly broad statements that now is not a good time and now is a good time. This is based on personal finance. We're putting the personal into personal finance. James Wrigley, financial advisor in Melbourne, Australia, says, I had this exact conversation yesterday, Buy when you are ready to do so. You'll always find a reason not to. Yes, absolutely. Thank you for commenting, James. And reason to back out. So that's a story for the day. If you want help crunching the numbers and you want to go over these numbers with me, I would be very happy to help you and help you make sense of what you're getting into. A lot of times I do this and people say, it's not time yet. And that's okay. And I don't want you to do something before you're ready because it could really blow up in your face. And that's a painful experience. You don't want to go through that. Anyway, thanks for watching. I will not be in tomorrow. So I'll see you guys Monday. If there's anything crazy going on in the world, then I'll jump on for a quick live stream. But right now, I'm planning to be out for the day tomorrow. I hope you all have a great night, great weekend, and I'll see you Monday. Thanks. Bye.